Hello, it's me Morris back again here with another day of Axie Origins Season 1 meta-analysis and team highlight. Now is I think day 54, and basically that just means we have roughly a week to go, so it's getting quite exciting to see who is going to come up on top. So in terms of the meta-analysis, to be honest, there's really not much update. That's because you do see it is the Rage, Endless Anger kind of build. Flooding the top really, but the reason why today I actually want to make a video is really because we do see a Leafy team getting into the top 20, which is very exciting because it's definitely going to break a bit of the trend, but also show that there are other teams that are viable. Of course, running very strong runes and charms, which I'll get into in a bit, but let's just see what else is out there. So you can see most of the teams, the Rage teams will have a Gaia Embraces because it just adds so much health, and also the bug for basically consistency, right? And in terms of card draw, but also the taunt and so on. So it just really adds a lot to it. So that's why most of the top teams are running that kind of plant bug beast kind of setup. And let me just see what else is out there. Shu is still up there, which is a team that I highlighted, the sustain build. And then I would say the rest of the thing that you usually see is basically a Shaded Exchange, Holy Prayer, even though actually this Leafy team is also a Shaded Exchange, Holy Prayer. It's just so strong, I think. Without these two, I think it'll be a bit hard to compete at the highest level. And yeah, that's pretty much all you would see, I would say. Alright, mostly Endless Anger stuff with some Shaded Exchange, Holy Prayer combo. Yeah, that's pretty much round up the top 100, pretty much. Yeah, I do see some shield backup mech sustain as well, but otherwise, yeah, that's basically all you see. Okay, so before I get into the team, Razahl's team, let me just quickly go through the runes and charms. And you'll see here, actually Endless Anger I think going a bit lower, but Holy Prayer actually increased in price quite a bit because the Holy Prayer Shaded Exchange combo is so strong. But you can see that these three are the key, as you see over here, right? Most of the top teams are using these three runes. Who would have thought that bug will become so strong? But actually, even last season, there's a bit of a hint for that already. And yeah, let's just look at the charms. And for the charms, to be honest, also not much. The only interesting thing is the secret egg. Actually, the good ones are actually getting more expensive, I feel, right? Secret cocoon is very strong for, in this particular bug. So that's why it is very, very expensive. Secret egg mostly is for, trying to scroll and find one that's basically here, this kind of bird, right? With the Shaded Exchange Holy Prayer. You do want to get the, maybe Feathers, Grandma's Fan early. And yeah, pre-order attack and Scotch Tape still very strong because it allows you to keep extra energy and start with whatever you want. But other than that, unfortunately, the rest of the runes and charms are pretty low. The Sticky Octopus is still okay, I would say, but yeah, the rest pretty low in terms of the prices for Mystics. But okay, let's just jump right into today's team highlight. So Razahl's team, and let's just see how this goes, because I think this team actually evolved quite a bit over time. I've been following Leafy teams just because I am also myself a Leafy player, and I played now at maybe about top 500, definitely not up there. But yeah, let's just look at it and see what this team has to offer in terms of the tech. Yeah, it's quite hard to see which charm is where, so that's why I actually just want to jump right into a battle and see how it goes. Okay, alright, let's just pause here. Reason I want to look at this one is also because it's one of those pretty strong team with Gaia Embrace and also Endless Anger. But yeah, let's just look at the team first. Maybe let's look at the front. Interestingly, the front is the Holy Prayer is probably the most, well, the out of the 3 runes would be the least useful. And let's just see. Wave is actually very good against Sustain. Actually, Square Teeth, of course, Leafy is a must for a Leafy team, but Square Teeth, I personally use it as well. It can be very strong. That's because sometimes you do want to use the shield to use it as an attack, and basically, right, if you shield up this front and then use Square Teeth, it will deal basically 100 damage for 1 energy, which is pretty good. And of course, by using the shield, you do get the leaf stack, which is the main point of using the shield. For some matchup, this is definitely helpful. Another use of Square Teeth is actually that sometimes you want to chip off some opponent. Let's say opponents only have like 10 health left, right? Then you can just use a Square Teeth just to get through them. And yeah, wow, this is actually, I would say these 3 cards are the tech as well. Kestrel, very strong against the opposing just aggro team in general. Grandma's Fan actually goes pretty well again with Leafy, I would say. Just because, yeah, I've used this combo before, and this allows your Leafy to deal a lot more damage. And Tri-Feather, probably a good tech for the sustain, but also, of course, the Holy Prayer will give you damage boost, so this actually makes these 2 cards pretty good. But of course, also, the reason why this is up front as well is that you don't actually want any AoE cards at the end of the game, so that's why you do want the opponent to actually get through this first. Let's look at the mid. The mid is very important to not die first, is because you do want to maximize your Gaia Embrace value. Interestingly, not going for the cactus, but going for the rosebud for some healing. And here you do see 3 pots, leafy pots, so that you can get the leaves. Yeah, I think Blossom is a must in this kind of team. Extra energy is also very interesting. Just because I would have thought that like with Shady Exchange you already have enough energy, but you do want to be able to ramp up your leaf stacks faster. So interesting tech. It looks more like a more aggro and less sustained kind of variant of Leafy. And let's look at the back. I think the key part is definitely the shrimp. So the shrimp with the octopus, with I guess this charm here, allows you to actually keep this shrimp, so you can use it whenever you want. And clear, to be fair, I'm not sure if it's a good card, but I would say it allows basically, well, you do need at least 3 aqua cut to be able to put this charm on, so maybe that's one of the reasons. And Dispel is actually quite strong. For example, if you have actually these 2 cards, right, the Shrimp and Oranda, then you can actually target, let's say, the opponent's back line, remove all the rage stack from there. So that could be quite a good tech, and maybe this is how you can so-called go against those Endless Anger build. And of course, the Shrimp is also very useful just in Leafy team in general, where let's say you have 2 Leafy in hand, you have a Shrimp, you can just Shrimp the back and then just 2 Leafy for the KO, and you can just get rid of the opponent's back line, the Endless Anger back line or something. So that could be pretty strong. And then I think Pumpkin is just a staple for Leafy team to heal. So do note that only 4 cards that gives you leaves, and one of them actually is a banish. So in terms of like getting the leaves, is actually like you can get 1 round of leaf pretty easily. 1 round meaning, when I say 1 round, I mean 3 leaves, because you do the Leafy only use up to 3 leaves. But getting the second round might be actually a bit harder. Okay, let's just look at the opponent's team quickly. So I would say pretty standard kind of team in terms of the Endless Anger build with the tape here. And interesting with Tiny Turtle. With a Shiba instead of like a Tiny Dino, which is also interesting. Okay, let's just go and see how this thing plays out. Okay, so just dealing damage for now. Okay, opponent not having the best of draw, I would say, wasting 1 energy at this point. But do get to keep. Oh wait. Oh, using the extra energy to keep this, or I'm not too sure what just happened. Okay. Yeah, I would have thought it has a tape on, right? No. So yeah, I think maybe they've changed the way in which it works. Okay, not getting to rage mode yet, which probably might be a good news for Razahl. Oh, okay, putting the Mavis as a basically as a shield in a way. Let's see if the opponent can actually get through it in one hit, because it actually has the shield on as well. Yeah, so opponent might not be able to. Alright, so opponent got baited in terms of, oh wow, just surviving. So you can see, right, the Mavis taking effectively 2 hits is pretty strong. Still managed to pick up the KO, that's why you can see, right, this kind of endless anger build is just so strong. But here's where the tech card comes in. Shrimp, yep, hit the back. And a double Leafy for the KO. Even have the Corn Tail to shield up as well. Yeah, so very strong combo here. Oh yeah, because of the taunt, yeah, shield the back. Yeah, now the opponent basically lost the threat, and there's really no extra energy, and now the energy is pretty I mean the HP is pretty similar, I would say, and the Leafy team definitely has an advantage at this point. For 2 reasons. One is that it has the Shade Exchange still. Wow, there's no leaf stack, no rage stack here anyway, so it doesn't even matter in terms of the Dispel. But yeah, I mean, once you get the leaf stacks up, yeah, this kind of team probably can't compete in terms of damage or value rather, unless they manage to get to Fury mode. So it's still not over, I would say. Okay, so probably gonna shield up and use the Leafy. Yep. So you can see how strong Leafy team is, right? So it's just, yeah, the current tail is not even useful, just because you do get so much extra energy that it's not even being used. This is still in the pile, which is pretty crazy. Okay, unfortunately, the front going down actually means it's actually quite tough, because you do lose those 3 stacks. So that's why it's definitely not over. Going for the offense, definitely shield up, right? Yep, so it's to get the leaves. Now it's still pretty close, I would say, but maybe the Shade Exchange does give Razahl the advantage. Yeah, still very close. Alright, so next turn actually can go down, so let's just see if okay, yeah, I think this is basically the turn. Go for the Leafy, and then yeah, the Serious for the KO. So you do have to be very careful in terms of, you know, counting your damage, but this is more of an aggro oriented Leafy build, and you can see it can be quite successful as soon as you can actually snipe off the opponent's back line. Because nowadays, right, especially at that level, you can see that there are just so many matchups against this kind of this kind of build. Okay, let's just look at another one. Yeah, probably this one, and see how it's different, and maybe I can show you how the bug might actually be a pretty good tech for this kind of rage build. Is because, well, most of the top build does have the bug in it, so might as well try and highlight that. Okay, let me just pause here. So this team should be pretty similar. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be the same exactly. Oh, one thing I forgot to note is the sun stamp on Castro, which is pretty standard. That's why I never even thought about it too much. Okay, so the front, having card draw, getting a particular card is also very strong with a pre-order tag as well. Yeah, getting the tape here, Innocent Lamb, the standard. Yeah, here is really the key. I think I already highlighted this kind of team before, but just to reiterate, this is a very strong opener because you do start with this charm allows to basically applies innate, and so you do start with the taunt on the mid line, which is very strong, and then these two charms allows you to draw extra cards. Square Teeth is interesting because sometimes you do get 50 shield and maybe you can use it as a 0 cost, deals 75 basically for certain turns. So that could be pretty strong. Pigeon Pose could be quite disruptive against basically the mirror match. And the back probably quite standard. Shiba as opposed to the Tiny Dino. Yeah, little piece, and then I think Axie is actually underrated. I feel right. It's very strong because you can target any enemy, so you can snipe off your opponent during your. It doesn't have to be during your Fury turn, but ideally, and Ronan of course. Okay, let's just see how this team works. So you do start with this, alright, the seal. So, and also do start with the ant. Interestingly, saving the ant for next turn, so that means the front will take a bit of a hit first, and then you want to taunt. So in a way, it's a very strong opponent will play like this, is because you do want the taunt to be applied during a later turn when opponent has more energy. Oh, interesting, getting the oh, they know what they will draw, so that's why they would know that they will draw a Shiba, and actually keeping it. Yeah, I must say I haven't really played this kind of team, so I have no idea like what's like the best. But wow, getting 2 tape here is very strong, I would say. So you can use the energy whenever. Here's where the shrimp is useful. But wow, already getting into Fury mode. Shiba, not enough for KO, but you do get to use one of these. Yep, KO the front, even draw a card. And okay, interesting to not use this. Keeping it for the next round because it's actually coming up very soon already. Unfortunately, not having enough leaf stacks, and yeah, with the taunt here as well, I can't really target the back. So it's really a very good tech, I would say. For the taunt, right? You can see why the taunt being in turn 4 and 6 is very useful, so that the opponent can't really target the back, and you can see, right, it's already back into Fury mode, doing the hard work. Okay, saving that, and then just go for the Ronan for the maximum damage. Just not enough. But yeah, now at this point it's gonna be pretty rough. Can now target the back. Yep. To snipe off the back now, I think it should be able to. But unfortunately, I think the damage has been done. Actually, to be honest, it's actually not over. It's because it actually is very close. Yeah, that's why you can see Razahl's team is just so strong, right? Just now I thought like, oh, it's right behind, but once you get to a turn where you can start off the back to play the Leafy, it is still very strong. Okay, interesting to put the taunt. Oh, okay, that is where Square Teeth actually come in clutch, right? Yeah, just basically close to picking up both KO here. And now there's unfortunately used up all the leaf stacks already. It's gonna be a bit rough. Yeah, especially with this kind of draw as well. Yeah, if Razahl draw actually a shield would have been good, but unfortunately, yeah, I think the Pigeon Post, the blackmail actually did the job. Yeah, and that is GG. With just the swords is enough for the KO. So I would say it's still a very close game just now. That's because if the opponent can't actually KO them and maybe get a shield or something over there, then the Leafs might be able to actually finish it off next turn. So okay, so that is a very good highlight of how despite having such a bad start, it was quite close to coming back as well. So yeah, Leafy team actually very strong. I think it's definitely underrated, especially with the ability to target. That's why actually I myself have one Axie with Leafy with a Shrimp as well, which definitely helped me quite a bit. Especially with this kind of meta where most of the matchup you see will be something like this, alright? Yeah, okay, so that is it for this particular meta highlight. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed my video, do consider giving me a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, and use my Lenosian code Morris. Thanks again and have a good one.